Today's Toy Time video is brought to you by Andrea Judge. Mrs. Judge is an AIG specialist from Moore County Schools.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Judge. I work at West Pine Elementary School in Moore County. Moore County is now the home of our famous Mariah Morris. Today I'm going to be doing a lesson on retelling a story for younger kids or summarizing a story for older kids. This is something that you can do with any book that you are now reading. This is something that you can do with a chapter of a book that you're reading. This is something that you can do with a TV show that you're watching or a movie that you're watching at home with mom and dad. So let's get started. First, I'm going to read a story I think you're a little bit familiar with. It's called The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs who lived with their mother in the meadow. One day, Mother Pig said, "You need to go out into the world and make your own way." So they waved goodbye, and out in the world they went. The pigs decided to build houses near the woods. A big bad wolf lived in the woods. He was not happy when he saw the three little pigs building houses nearby. The first little pig decided to make his house out of straw. So he worked and built it and closed the door, was ready for the night. The big bad wolf came along. He huffed and he puffed, and he blew that piglet's house down. So that little piglet ran to his brother's house. That brother had decided that he was going to build his house out of twigs. So he had built it. He was ready for the night. Along came the big bad wolf. He huffed and he puffed, and he blew that house down too. So those two little pigs ran to their big brother's house, and the big brother had decided he was going to build his house out of bricks. That seemed to work so much better because when the big bad wolf came along, he huffed and he puffed and he blew and nothing happened. And then he huffed and he puffed and he blew and nothing happened. And he huffed and he puffed and he blew and still nothing happened. So the wolf decided he really had to get those pigs. So he decided to climb up on the roof and go down through the chimney. Well, while he was climbing on the roof, the three little pigs built a fire in the fireplace and put a boiling pot of water under it. Guess what happened? The wolf went down the chimney and fell into the pot. It was so hot that it burned him. He jumped up, he ran out the door, ran down into the woods, and was never ever seen again. The end. So that was a great story. I think you guys recognize that story. I think you've heard that story once or twice. Now let's talk about some parts of the story. So the parts I want to talk about are, what is the title of the story? Well, the title of the story was Three Little Pigs. And who were the characters? Pig number 1, pig number 2, pig number 3, the big bad wolf. Oh, and let's not forget Mama Pig. Very good. And what was the setting of the story? Well, the first part of the story was set at Mama Pig's field where she lived. So Mama Pig, house, but quickly became the Three Little Pigs area near the forest. And what happened in the beginning of the story? In the beginning of the story, the first little pig built a house. The wolf came, blew it down. The second pig built a house, blew it down. So in the middle of the story, the third little pig was building his house, and he decided to build his house out of brick. And they all came to his house. made of brick, because that was important. And the big bad wolf huffed and puffed and blew, and it didn't fall down. Huffed and puffed and blew, and it didn't fall down. Huffed and puffed and blew, and it still didn't fall down. Whoops. But he couldn't get them. So, in the end of the story, he decided to go down the chimney. But that didn't work either because he fell into the pot. And ran away. So that was a pretty good story, and we have all of the parts of the story that we need to know. Now, if we are a little bit older and we want to write a summary or we want to tell a summary of a story, we're going to do exactly the same thing, just a little bit different. So in the summary of the story, first of all, it is still the three little pigs. We still have to tell who the characters are. So it's someone, that's who the people are, who the characters are in the story. So we know those are the three pigs, the wolf, and Mama Pig. But who are the main characters? So the main characters the story is mostly about are the three pigs that are building the house and the wolf. Those are the ones that take up most of the action in the story. What did they want? What did the three pigs want? They wanted to build houses to live happily ever after, right? But what's the problem? Most stories have a problem. Well, the problem in this story is the wolf, and the wolf wanted to eat the piggies. So how did they solve the problem? Or how did they try to solve the problem? They tried to solve the problem by building houses out of different materials. The straw didn't work, the twigs didn't work, but it did work for them to build it out of bricks. And so then, how does the story end? They built it out of bricks, and the big bad wolf huffed and puffed and wasn't able to blow it down, went down the chimney into the fire, burnt himself, and ran off into the woods, never to be seen again. So that tells us our summary. Now, if we wanted to, we could take that summary and we could tell somebody who watched it with us or listened to it with us or read it with us or even hasn't read the story, we can give them a summary of the story. We can do that with a TV show, right? So most TV shows in their time frame have a problem and a solution. So we can summarize them. We could also write this out, write the summary out after we were done filling out the little chart that we made on our paper. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you get something out of it. I hope you do lots and lots of reading while you're stuck at home and can't go to school for right now. And have a great day.
Now that you learned all about summarizing from Mrs. Judge, can you find a book at home to read and practice the summarizing technique that you learned in this video? Have fun and happy reading!